Today we journey through one of the most heart-touching phases in the life of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, from the age of 6 to 25. These are the years after the passing of his beloved mother Amina, may Allah be pleased with her, filled with immense love, spiritual signs and trials that shape the foundation of the final messenger of God. Let's begin. After the death of his mother Amina, young Muhammad, peace be upon him, was just 6 years old. A devoted servant named Baraka, known as Ayman, a kind-hearted Abyssinian woman, took over his care. She had served the Prophet's family for years. Muhammad, peace be upon him, loved her deeply and called her my mother after my mother. His grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, was overcome with emotion at the sight of the orphan boy. He became the Prophet's guardian and loved him dearly. If Muhammad, peace be upon him, disappeared even briefly, Abdul Muttalib would send people to search for him. Once, when Muhammad, peace be upon him, was playing under a berry tree, Abdul Muttalib warned Ayman, "Don't ever let him out of your sight. The people of the book speak much about him, and I fear they may harm him." Abdul Muttalib, the chief of Quraysh, had a dignified seat under the shade of the Kaaba. No one sat there except him. But little Muhammad, peace be upon him, would sit there, and when his uncles tried to remove him, Abdul Muttalib would say, "Leave my son. His status is extraordinary. I believe he will become a great leader one day." One day, a Christian scholar from Najran was sitting with Abdul Muttalib. When Muhammad, peace be upon him, approached, the scholar asked, "Who is this child?" Abdul Muttalib said, "My son." The man replied, "That can't be. His father must be deceased." Abdul Muttalib confirmed, "You are right, he is my grandson." The scholar said, "This child is a prophet. Protect him." While playing outside Makkah, Muhammad, peace be upon him, wandered near a camp of the Banu Mudli tribe, who were experts in physiognomy. They studied the shape of his feet and were astonished. They followed him to Makkah and told Abdul Muttalib, "His footprints match those of Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, at Maqam Ibrahim. This child will walk in the footsteps of the great prophet." When the prophet, peace be upon him, had an eye ailment at age 7, Abdul Muttalib took him to a Christian monk in a sacred site. Just as they were about to enter, an earthquake struck. Everyone ran out. The monk later treated Muhammad, peace be upon him, outside the church using a simple but miraculous method. He advised Abdul Muttalib to apply the child's own saliva to his eyes. He recovered instantly. At age 8, the Prophet, peace be upon him, suffered another immense loss, the death of his grandfather Abdul Muttalib. Ayman recalled how he followed the funeral bier, tears flowing endlessly. Abdul Muttalib had willed that his son Abu Talib should take care of Muhammad, peace be upon him, knowing his deep love and maternal connection to the boy. Abu Talib, though not wealthy, loved Muhammad, peace be upon him, dearly. He would take him on journeys and share whatever he had. Despite the limited food, whenever Muhammad, peace be upon him, joined a meal, it seemed blessed. Everyone would eat their fill, and food would still remain. Ayman and Abu Talib noticed something miraculous. When other children woke up, their hair was messy and their faces groggy. But the Prophet, peace be upon him, always looked radiant, as though someone had gently prepared him in his sleep. Each year, a famous seer visited Makkah. Abu Talib once took Muhammad, peace be upon him, to him. The man kept staring at the boy and became restless when they left without meeting him. He screamed, "Wa Tabar, that boy is of great fortune. Who was he?" But Abu Talib never returned. One day, while walking with his uncle Zubair, they encountered a wild camel attacking people. The moment it saw Muhammad, peace be upon him, it calmed down and knelt in submission. Later, children began riding it, and even the Prophet, peace be upon him, sat upon it. Zubair told this story often in Makkah. At age 12, the Prophet, peace be upon him, joined his uncle Abu Talib on a trade journey to Syria. Though initially reluctant, Abu Talib couldn't say no after the Prophet, peace be upon him, tearfully asked, "You are all I have. Who will you leave me with?" As the caravan entered the town of Busra, a monk named Bahira noticed something miraculous. A cloud was shading a young boy in the caravan. As they stopped under a tree, the tree's branches bent closer, as if to greet the child. For the first time ever, Bahira invited the entire caravan for a feast, insisting that everyone attend, including the slaves and children. Muhammad, peace be upon him, was initially left outside to guard the goods. Bahira became uneasy and asked, "Is everyone here?" They replied, "Only a boy remains outside." When Harth went to bring the Prophet, peace be upon him, inside, Bahira rushed to the rooftop. He saw the tree literally lean in the Prophet's, peace be upon him, direction, its roots lifting from the ground. Inside the room, Bahira kept staring at the child. He then asked him solemn questions about his sleep, dreams, his eyes' constant red hue, and finally, with permission, checked for the seal of prophethood between his shoulders. Seeing Bahira's deep interest, Abu Talib grew anxious. Bahira assured him, "This child is no ordinary boy. If the Jews see him, they will recognize him and might harm him. Take him back to Makkah. Protect him." Taking Bahira's warning seriously, Abu Talib cut the journey short. Some narrations suggest he sent Muhammad, peace be upon him, back to Makkah immediately with some trusted servants. Despite Bahira's precautions, rumors had already reached some Jewish communities in Syria. They came to Bahira asking questions, but Bahira blocked them and said firmly, "Even if everything you say is true, you won't be able to harm him." Back in Makkah, the Prophet, peace be upon him, grew into a young man of extraordinary purity. He never engaged in sin, was shy, noble, and wise beyond his years. His upbringing was divinely protected, every step guided by Allah. From the loss of his parents to signs of prophecy seen by strangers, every part of Muhammad's, peace be upon him, early life whispers of his great mission ahead. In the next episode, we'll witness his first marriage and the turning point that began his path to prophethood. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Timeless Voices.